Hello, I'm Toad, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'll be showing you guys how I built my 009 model railway. Before I start, if you do not know what 009 is, then watch this video, which will be linked in all the places where videos usually are. This has been my biggest and most exciting project. In this video, I'll show you step by step how my version of the Talyllyn railway came to be. I started this project with some humble drawings and some big ideas. I then found a table and a spot to set up the railway. The table is just a few IKEA tables, however, I had to flip them over and paint them brown. I then ordered all these items, which you could see me unbox in this video here. Here is in the description. Once all the items had arrived, I set to work almost immediately. I then finalized the track layout and had a rough idea of where I wanted what to go. I ended up settling on this track layout that you can see here. While some people use glue to set down their track, I opted to use nails. So I got out a tiny hammer and nailed down all the track to the table. I recommend that you use a ruler to avoid making the same mistake as me where the track looks uneven. However, this is excusable due to the fact that this is the Talyllyn railway in the 1950s when the track wasn't in its best condition. Hammering down track is very loud, so glue may be more suitable if you're making your railway in a house. I figured this out too late. Once the track had been laid down to the best of my abilities, I added some buildings to the layout. Lots of layouts underestimate the amount of buildings you need. However, buildings are a very good way to fill up empty space and provide interest. Later, I made the stations. I started with possibly the most iconic, which is Talyllyn Station. I used the Hornby Station Halt as the main building. I made a platform from Lego and plasticard slate. After that, I made a sign and added some people to it. And here is what the finished station looks like. The next station I worked on was Ride Your Onnen. I have no idea how you say this name. Sorry to any Welsh people who will be watching this video, but please correct me in the comments section on how you say the name. I'm really lost. I made this station almost the same as I did Talyllyn, except for some different signs and a different roof. This one also had a bench, and this is what the finished station ended up looking like. As you can see in these photos, I had tried to make some hills, however I was not happy with them, so I simply got rid of them. It was now time for the most tedious part of the entire project, the ballast. These tiny little grey rocks add so much detail, but took away so much time from my life. It took me a full 16 hours of putting glue and water in a cup, pouring ballast into a cup, putting a little bit of ballast down, using a syringe to put tiny amounts of glue onto the ballast, cleaning up the ballast and moving on to the next section of track. I highly suggest, if you are to do ballast on your model railway, that you do the points last, as they are the trickiest part. For said points, I painted the underneath section of it grey, so I didn't have to add ballast where the motion would be. I highly recommend that you do this before you lay the track. After the whole ordeal, I understood why Trained Boy and some others do not bother with ballast. However, I believe if you have the time, it is highly worth it, as it is not expensive. After the ballast laying was done, I moved on to hiding the wires. My control panel is behind this cupboard door. The wires lead from it to the track. Since giant red and black wires are not exactly realistic, I hid them with some strategically placed scrap. Next, I worked on the farm. I placed down 12 sheep and some stone walls, then I added a garage with a person and a car. I then laid down some big strips of grass. For the rest of the grass, I sprayed on some glue and used the Pico grass applicator. I do not suggest the Pico one, as it is very overpriced and there are good ones on eBay for much less. However, it does work very well. I used 3 different types of grass for a better effect: dead grass, autumn grass, and summer grass. Layout just needed some buildings. I built Wharf Station last as I had to wait for a second order from Hatton's. Then I made some houses. I placed them down next to pre-built ones. After that, I built the church and added some vines to it for extra effect. There were a few more structures and items to put down. Before long, it was 99% done. However, it will never be fully done. Before I end this video, here is some footage of the layout. Thank you for watching. The next video will be about my narrow gauge coaches, so goodbye.